Recording in progress.
Yo, what's good? What's good, fam? I'm your boy Trey Frazier, and I got my brother Maestro Styles here with me today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Welcome, folks. It's another edition of the Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. Special shout out to all of our folks out there, the audience, the fans that support the show, watching us right now live on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel. We're live on our Facebook page. Also, click the like button. You can follow us on Twitter. We're live on there as well at Barbershop SPOR2. And you could also follow us on the gram at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. My bro, what's happening? What's popping?
Coolin', man. Coolin', man. Real quick, congrats to my baby girl graduating elementary school. Zara, we love you. She got a birthday coming up on Sunday. Got one that's out on all streaming platforms right now. My new beat tape. You know what I'm saying? Life is good.
Go cop that.
Yeah, man. Go listen to that, man. Life is good, man. Life is good, man. Working towards the next thing. You know, we working on this merch, so working on that, and you know, we working.
No doubt, man. Let me say happy birthday to my wife Debbie. Her birthday was last week, so wanted to make sure I give her that special shout out. Also to you, congrats to your daughter on the graduation. And the party is this weekend, so certainly looking forward to that.
Yes, sir.
Man, I gotta tell you, I upgraded to the iPhone 14 Pro Max this weekend.
Oh, you went crazy.
So, and it really wasn't by, well, I guess it was by choice, but I wasn't. So it's so Saturday. I'm at the cleaners, and I get out the car to go drop the stuff off, and the kids is with me, and we leave the cleaners. We're walking back to the car across the parking lot, and I see somebody's phone in the street, and I was looking at it, and I was like, oh, somebody left their phone in the street. And I looked at it, I was like, wait, it's my phone. I was like, how the hell my phone get in the street? So it must have dropped out my pocket as I was getting out the car or something. And somebody, while I was in the cleaners, ran over it. You know, the front was cracked, the back was cracked. I had to end up going to AT&T the next day. You know, they swapped it out for me. At first, I thought I could just get the screen replaced, but then the whole deductible to kind of replace the entire phone would have been $270-something to do that. And at that point, I only had 2 payments left on the 12. I said, you know what? I'm eligible for an upgrade. Let me just go ahead and get the 14 Pro Max and just, you know.
Go all the way.
You
know what I'm saying?
Right. So that was kind of my weekend, and
I'm waiting for you to move over to Mac, man.
To the Mac. Whew.
I'm waiting for you to do that, man.
Whew. One day. That's a few things that's down the list that's in mind right now.
I ain't saying to get the brand new joint. I'm just saying, you know, my Mac is old. My Mac old as hell, but
Yeah, well, you know, I might have to. I may have.
I'm just telling you because I know you use Apple. You know, Apple products. It's so much smoother, bro.
Yeah, I know. We're doing lineups and stuff, and the app to put your notes in. You know, you can do that with your Mac and all that stuff. I know that.
Yeah, and it pops up from my phone to my note. You know what I'm saying? Like it's better. It's just better, man.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you on that. We got a special guest coming today. She's been on here before last year, and we got an invite to her New Year's extravaganza up in Baltimore. Y'all know her, Reeta, the NFL chick. Hubbard, you know, covers the Ravens here in the city, has a couple podcasts out right now, and has also been making appearances on Brother from Another. She does a great job doing that. So we'll have her on in a few minutes and, you know, just kind of talk Ravens kind of recapping the offseason, the schedule, and some happenings that's happening around the city. And I'm interested to, and I'm glad I put this in the notes. But I feel like since we're getting closer to the start of the football season, I mean, it does feel like it's far away, but we're starting to get to that point. Top 5 players in the AFC North heading into the season. I think that's a pretty good discussion to have, given all the talent in this division. And I feel like, each week, especially when we come back in July, I feel like we should do every division, top 5 in the respective divisions in the NFL. I think that'd be something to be, that'll be dope to do. So, okay. So we looking forward to that. Biggest news of the week, man. Your Wizards made a move. They made a move, man.
Yeah. And the move in my mind has 100% solidified what they plan on doing. Mm-hmm. So I'm a ride with Michael Winger and the guy from Oklahoma City. I forget his name on the top of my head.
Yeah.
I'm a ride with him until I see a reason not to, man. Look, man, Bradley Beal was traded to the Suns for a chicken sandwich and a dryer. And yeah, am I upset about it? Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm upset about it. But you know what? To my understanding, there was a no trade clause, so he didn't want to go to Miami. Mm-hmm. And it was another team, I believe, that was in the running. And for whatever reason,
they say the Knicks, but it seemed like they always throwing the Knicks name in any player trade at this point. So sure, who knows?
Yeah. So when the Suns' opportunity came up, he waived his no trade clause to go to the Suns. The Suns sent over Chris Paul, who we all believe will not be playing in a Wizards uniform at all, and Landry Shamet, along with 2 second-round picks. Look, I knew that. We had the conversation last week. I knew that trade value wasn't going to be as high as everybody would like. I knew that.
And you know what? I'm gonna give you props, because the following day there's some folks on ESPN that did confirm that maybe this compensation is not going to be as high as some people might make it seem to appear. And so, I give you props for that. It was what, 2 seconds?
2 second rounds, Landry Shamet and Chris Paul.
Which to me was a surprise. I think the surprise for me in that compensation was the Shamet addition to that package. I would have thought that Phoenix. Why? You're giving up 2 point guards, and I understand campaign can come in, and if that's the plan for Phoenix, which we'll talk about Phoenix in a second, but if that's the plan, then cool. But I mean, I was expecting just Chris Paul. I was surprised that Shamet was a part of the deal.
Well, I don't. Landry Shamet doesn't move the goalpost for me one way or the other, so I'm not so surprised by. I mean, to be honest, that was just a player that he's just a guy. I mean, I know he had that one game against the Nuggets, I want to say, where he scored like 19, or he had some key threes or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I mean, outside of that, we haven't talked about Shamet since he was with the Sixers. So that doesn't tickle my fancy. That didn't surprise me.
Well, on the Phoenix side, like I said.
Well, not even on the Phoenix side does it surprise me. And like you said, I hope my points for Phoenix when we get to Phoenix.
Yeah.
But that didn't surprise me either. Again, for me, look, man, you offloaded a contract, and clearly, that's what you were trying to do. You were trying to get off a contract.
That's a win for the Wizards.
That is the win for the Wizards. That is the win. You wanted to get a contract off. You got a contract off.
Right.
I was trying to understand. I saw Wojnarowski talking about on ESPN that the deal wasn't terrible because his belief is that the Wizards are going to become a team where people want to offload contracts. Mm-hmm. And with them dumping them bad contracts to the Wizards can now start asking for first round picks in order to allow other teams to dump off their contracts to Washington.
Yeah.
So I don't know how if that's gonna pan out in Washington's favor.
Mm-hmm.
I know that people are saying that's what happened in OKC, and that's why OKC was able to kind of put together something in that time, and you know, and I get obviously it panned out to SGA. So
yeah.
So we'll see what happens. Look, what I regret is that Bill was only 200 points away from being the leading all-time scorer
in franchise history.
In franchise history, he was 200 away.
Oh, okay.
He was 200, about like literally less than 200 points away from getting that record. So I mean, I would have liked him to at least get that.
Who's the leader right now?
Elvin Hayes.
Elvin Hayes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I would have liked him to get that, but you know.
Right.
Also in Wizards news, Kuzma opted out.
Yep. I saw that.
I mean, again, it seems that they are offloading. They're trying to get money off the books.
Right.
I wouldn't be so. I mean, I don't know if Porzingis is next, but it's very clear that they're trying to offload contracts. They are in full rebuild mode, and that's going to take 2-3 years to get that, to kind of get that going in their way.
Yeah.
If the world was mine, I'm trying to figure out how I can get that number 3 pick from Portland, like everybody's been saying.
Yeah.
Because now we're not looking for a point guard; we're looking for best available talent.
Right.
So I'm hoping that maybe somehow we can get Porzingis out of here and get that number 3. I don't know if the Blazers want Porzingis, but I'm hoping.
So here's my prediction with the Porzingis stuff, and I do think that they're not going to bring Kuzma back. I think Kuzma's going to be looking for more than $13 million. A year. I think he's going to be looking for that. Porzingis' number is at 33, I think, $34 million.
Yeah.
If he opts out, I'm trying to figure out a team that's got the money that's going to give him not just maybe the 33 to match, but more. Like if I'm Porzingis, I'm probably looking at
Porzingis trying to get more.
If I'm Porzingis, yes, I would be trying to get more.
Based off of I mean, let's be clear. He was the best player for the Wizards last year.
Yeah,
no doubt, no doubt about that. At least, and specifically in the second half. But he's already making 33. Like now, you're talking about putting him up there with the big wigs because of one season.
Let me be clear. I don't think he deserves it. Let me be clear. I don't think he deserves it. But like I said, if I am Kristaps Porzingis and I'm in his shoes, I got to look at the situation and say, if I opt out of this $33 million, I don't know if I'm going to see that from some of these other teams. And
I think somebody will pick up that contract. I do.
You think so?
Not
like in a trade or
in a trade situation.
In a trade, yes. In a trade, yes. I could certainly see that in a trade situation. But I think that in his mind, he's thinking, I can't, my salary can't go down. I got to at least make the same or north of what I'm making now. And I got to figure out what the best way for me to go about that is.
Yeah.
If it means I got to opt in just so I could get this money, then so be it. But if I hit the market, based on the season, and yes, I'm the best player on the team last year, but we didn't win. So,
at all.
Right. So now I'm taking a risk. I'm taking a big risk by losing some money if I hit that market.
Go to Portland, man. Portland, give us that third round, man.
Especially since it sounds like Dame want to stay there.
Yeah,
and want the team to build. Want the team to build.
Get Porzingis.
Hey, that'd be a good 1-2 punch.
But I don't know if it'd be great, but I know. Well, if he plays, I mean, what's the best scoring big he's had? Damian Lillard.
What, LaMarcus Aldridge?
Yeah, okay.
Because what's his name that's there right now? Nurkic. I don't know that he's consistent.
He's
been hurt a lot.
Yeah, he's definitely not. Yeah, he definitely hasn't been consistent. Yeah.
Right. So I think Porzingis and Dame, that don't sound like a bad 1-2 punch. It's not going to win him a championship. It's not going to get him to the conference finals, but could it get him to the play-in? Yeah, I could see that getting them to the play-in round.
Yeah,
and having a chance to play in a series.
Sure, I agree.
Yeah.
On the Sun side, Bill is getting paid a lot of money to be the third option. Look, I ain't mad at it for him. You know what I'm saying?
It's a good move for Bill, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good move for Bill. If you believe that Devin Booker at point guard can work for you, then I'm not so sure that campaign is going to immediately come in and be the starting point guard. I think that you do at least try Devin Booker based on what he did in the playoffs. Try and see if he can be more of a facilitator. And for the rest of the team, I mean, at the end of the day, they still right now have Ayton. Right, whether you believe he's going to be gone or not, right now they still have Ayton.
They're not done.
They're not done. I mean, you would have to think that they're probably going to go get a point guard, but at the same time, again, as constructed, I mean, we saw that Devin Booker can facilitate. We saw that he can facilitate.
We saw that he can, and to be honest with you too, because we've seen Bradley Beal facilitate for a period of time in DC when John Wall was hurt.
Well, let's be clear what Bradley Beal is going to be doing. Bradley Beal is going to be on shooting, spot up shooting.
Of course,
that's what he's going to be doing. And again, it's good for Bill because if you chase him off, we know he can create his own shot. But he's going to be sitting there waiting to shoot. So that's what he's going to be doing.
So I could see, now that you bring up trying Devin Booker at point guard, I could see a situation where if it don't work out, let's say they start the season with him at point guard and, through the first 2 months, they not where they feel like they need to be at. I could see a move at the trade deadline to get a true facilitator at the point guard spot and then maybe something that could, catapult him to where they want to be in the standings.
I'll tell you what I could see. I could see them moving Kevin Durant to the 4.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. I
totally see them moving Kevin Durant to the 4, putting Booker 3 and Bill at the 2, and letting Campaign run point guard because we've seen him run point guard and he was efficient.
Right.
So obviously Phoenix's problem is still depth. Bench play, like
depth and defense, which I would expect. Frank Vogel, the new head coach, I would expect he would instill some kind of defensive strategies in there to maybe help out. But, yeah, this team is not done. Are they the favorites right now? No, I would say no, they're not the favorites right now. But I do think, based on what I said when they got Kevin Durant, that, this past playoffs, this wasn't going to be the year for them. But this following season where, I think they got slightly better with Bradley Beal. I don't think they did by much. They're not done constructing the roster yet, but I think there's going to be pressure on this team. Let me not say I think. There will be pressure on this team to win a championship. So
absolutely, let's be very clear. There is pressure this year.
Yeah,
and like you said, when Kevin Durant happened, I guess I gotta give you your flowers. You was right. They didn't win, and the pressure is on this year for them to win it.
Yeah.
They are still. I mean, look, in the West, they're still second. Mm-hmm. And odd-wise, they're second.
Odd-wise, I would say they are second, and
odd-wise, they're second.
And we'll see what the Warriors do because Draymond, as I think we all expected, is opted out of his contract. Now, they're talking about still having this possibility to re-sign Draymond, which I think is interesting because I'm thinking about him and Jordan Poole, and we know Jordan Poole's got the big contract. I don't see those two on the same roster, whether it's Golden State or someplace else.
And let's be clear.
Yeah.
Even if they came back saying Kumbaya and Draymond was signed with Jordan Poole and all that, they still not the second. I don't. Odds wise, it's Denver, it's Phoenix. I don't know. Do you put the Warriors over Memphis? Even with Josh suspended 25 games?
Yes. If they bring Draymond back?
Yeah.
Yes.
You got him over.
I got him over Memphis. I got him over Sacramento. And I definitely got him over the Lakers.
Okay. So you got them number 3, the Warriors.
I got him number 3. I got him number 3.
I'm gonna say Memphis over Golden State. Right now, and maybe I sound crazy. I'm thinking about it. I don't know, but right this second, I'm gonna say Memphis over Golden State. They're a year older. Even if Draymond comes back, which I don't think he will, but if he does,
right.
I don't see that Jordan Poole is over getting put to sleep by him. I don't think you ever get over that.
Yeah, and that's kind of my point. Like, if they do bring Draymond back, I would expect Jordan Poole to get traded someplace.
I doubt it, but if he leaves, let's be clear who Draymond Green is to the Warriors. Draymond Green to the Warriors is the heart and soul of that team. I guess Steph is Steph and Clay is Clay, and but the grit is from Draymond Green. The shit, I think the shit that got them winning championships, that's Draymond Green. And with him being gone, I think that identity does leave with him.
Yeah. It does.
Identity does leave with him. I think it does, and so I can't put them over. I can't put them over Memphis either way, whether he comes back or doesn't.
Interesting. They've been talking about possibly 2 teams if Draymond decides to not go back to Golden State. They mentioned the Lakers one, which is kind of the obvious pick because LeBron is there and him and LeBron are, cool and all that. And the other place was the Grizzlies. And I thought about it and I'm like, you know what? Yeah. Draymond on the Grizzlies, that could help take them over the top. That could really get them to at least the conference finals.
Dylan Brooks to be. Right. Dylan Brooks was trying to be that guy. Was trying to be Draymond Green to the Grizzlies.
Right.
So to actually bring Draymond, and obviously Draymond won't be younger. You know what I'm saying? But that identity and that thing that he brings, I think that would be good for the Grizzlies for sure. One way or the other, it is the Nuggets in the West. It's the Suns number 2. For me, it's the Grizzlies. Then maybe the Warriors.
Interesting.
But then I'm interested. Yeah, I'll stay there. That's the top 4.
So Denver, Phoenix, Memphis, Golden State.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's top 4 for me.
Okay. All right.
Shout out to. First shout out to Michael Jordan, who sold a minority stake of the Hornets.
Yep.
He still, it's majority stake. He still has a minority stake, but he
does.
He invested $200 million in 2010. He walks away in 2023 with $3 billion.
That's wild, man.
That's crazy. So shout out to Jordan. Hey man, look,
getting the bag.
We said we always talk about black people and black men coming. Jordan has say what you want about how shit of a president he's been as far as bringing in talent. Say what you want about him as a person, which we all don't really know.
Republicans buy sneakers too.
Yeah, all that. Cool. Yeah. Say what you want, but that's a black man who ain't shucked and jived too crazy. That's $3 billion up, right? So, in my eyes, that's a victory for black people everywhere. Shout out to Jordan for that. Yeah. Secondly, in Charlotte Hornets news, definitely super shout out to J. Cole. And there's another musician from North Carolina, I forget his name, who also was in that in that group. Who got minority ownership of the Charlotte Hornets. So all that stuff that we've been talking about, getting the rappers, getting the people of today to start getting in and setting themselves up for the future.
Right.
J. Cole has definitely took that step. Shout out to J. Cole, man.
Shout out to the homie J. Cole.
And I didn't realize that. Did we talk about him being the reason that Caleb Martin is playing for the Heat?
We did.
We did. Okay.
Yep. Yeah. We did.
He definitely putting it down, man. No homo. Shout out to J. Cole, man.
Yeah. So the Charlotte Hornets, and I think I said this once before. This franchise has been around, almost 30 years, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. And it's so wild because I saw a comparison between them and the Miami Heat because I guess both teams were inaugurated the same year back in 88 or 89. And they were comparing the amount of conference finals, NBA finals, championships, whereas you see Miami with the 3 chips, the 7 finals appearances, the conference finals appearances, and, and all that stuff. And then here you see the Charlotte Hornets with goose eggs at every category of that criteria. And it's unfortunate because I used to think, growing up as a kid that was, and I don't know if it's because I like the jersey so much.
They definitely had the better starter jacket. That's
the starter jackets, yeah.
They had the better starter jacket.
Yeah, it seemed like one of those cool franchises to play for, or one of the cooler looking franchises. You had some guys there that you did like seeing playing with Del Curry, Alonzo Mourning, Muggsy Bogues, Grandmama, Larry Johnson, just to name a few guys. Yeah. And it just seems like, and who knows, maybe that first move to New Orleans maybe just kind of, put a dent in things, and then the Bobcats come into play, and then they
wasn't no good.
Were able to get that
when they moved to New Orleans.
Right. Yeah,
They just haven't been a good franchise, and you know what? All right, it's plenty of good. It's plenty bad franchises. I guess if you want to compare them to mine,
that's a bad start.
Yeah, I mean, but look, man. How many franchises actually have chips?
Not a lot. I would say not a lot. We just saw the Nuggets get their first one.
Right.
We just saw the Raptors a few years ago get their first one, and they were they're younger than the Hornets.
Yeah. They had Kawhi Leonard though, so
right. They had a superstar.
Shout out to them. Yeah.
They had a superstar.
When have they ever had a player of Kawhi Leonard caliber?
Right. I was just about to say they just haven't had that superstar. No disrespect to Kemba Walker. I liked Kemba Walker, but he just wasn't. You remember that playoff series against the Heat a few years ago? It was like a first round series, and the Hornets was up like 3-2 in the series, and you had old ass Dwayne Wade. Kind of take them, elevate them in that game 6. Yeah. And they eventually lost that series. I mean, that's about as close as you could possibly think as far as playoff success for the Charlotte Hornets in recent memory. It was that one series where they did have a good regular season. I think they won like 48 games that year. Mm-hmm. And then I think they were the 5th or 6th seed or something like that, and they were playing an older Miami Heat team, and that's about as far as I could think of as far as success for them. So maybe with this new ownership, man, and J. Cole there, and I'm hoping, I'm fantasizing that J. Cole has a lot more say in some of the decisions that they make, but at the end of the day, he's a minority owner.
But what he will have, and it's a lot. I was watching a news story on YouTube before we got on, talking about how they brought him in with the hopes that he would try to attract top tier talent. Yeah. And he never really tried, and it never really manifested. Mm-hmm. I think with J. Cole, they brought him in with the thought, I would hope, that all the young players, they rock with J. Cole. J. Cole is on a tear right now with features right now. So you know what I'm saying? Like everybody rock, he rapping with everybody.
Yeah, right.
You rapping with Eric. So it's like maybe they're hoping that he can bring in some top tier talent. Charlotte is a growing city. I hear that conversation all the time about how Charlotte is getting ready to grow into one of them cities in the country.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think this is a good move for J. Cole. I think it's a good move for Charlotte, for North Carolina. This is a good move all the way around. And you just gotta. I just kind of hope that some of these top tier talent guys will say, you know what, I see what's going on down there.
Mm-hmm.
I rock with J. Cole. They got to have money to spend. Charlotte, they ain't had nobody top tier,
right?
So they gotta have money to spend. So it's like
money to spend, right?
I gotta think that he's going to bring. Let's say I hope that he can help turn that around.
Yeah, it starts in this Thursday's draft actually. Because they got the number 2 pick, and I guess they're predicting Scoot Henderson to be that number 2 pick, and it's funny because people were making jokes that had Jordan still, been behind the operations, that he would have passed over Scoot Henderson for somebody else. Just kind of, relaying back to the bad drafts under his watch over the years.
And they almost have to get Scoot Henderson,
yeah,
who is being mentored by Steph Curry.
Yeah.
Steph Curry, who is from the area.
There, yep.
Right, so it's almost a
it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, right. It's not even almost. It's definitely a no-brainer, like you said. And look, man, maybe 3-4 years when Golden State is done dumping Brinks trucks on Steph Curry, maybe he can come down to Carolina, and give him 25 a game.
Right. Maybe. Maybe. Who's got the number 3 pick? It's Portland, right?
Portland, yeah.
Portland's got the 3, so they're probably going with the kid from Alabama.
Who?
Brandon.
Oh,
Brandon
Miller. Yeah. Well,
Brandon.
I'm hoping they trade that to Washington. That's what I'm hoping.
I think a lot of folks are hoping that the Blazers trade that somehow. I don't know how that's gonna work. We've heard all the rumors about Dame possibly being traded to the Miami Heat because of some comments that he said, and I guess on the eve of the Bradley Beal stuff, and Bradley Beal got traded. Now everything is kind of shifting to, okay, what's Dame gonna do? What's Dame Dollar gonna do? What you think, man? You think he stays in Portland, or you think he finally, finds a way to make it work someplace else?
Well, what I believe is that Damian Lillard in Miami is going back to the finals.
In the East, the way the East is constructed right now.
I think him there. They go back, and that's assuming they keep Bam. That's assuming. I mean, obviously Jimmy Butler will be there, because I also seen rumors about Bam being traded today.
I saw that too.
So that's assuming they keep Bam. I think if they keep that, then they are going back to the finals next year. With that being said, I'm 50-50, man, because you know what? I'm 51-49. He goes to Miami. He goes to Miami. He goes to Miami.
That's interesting. So
I think he wants a chip, man. And let's be clear.
Yeah.
What's it been, 9-10 years?
Been about 10 years now since he's been there. Yeah, about 10 years.
How long you need to know that Portland ain't interested in putting a team around you for real?
Yeah.
It's a small market. Like all the, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, nobody, you're not trading for no KD. Like, KD don't want to go to Portland. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
That's not going to work.
Go to Miami, man. Go to Miami. The Hit Factory is down there. You could get some rapping in the summertime.
Right.
Go to Miami, man. Go to Miami.
I think we're going to find out early enough. I think what they decide to do with the 3 pick Thursday at the draft, I think, is going to determine if Dame's going to stay there or not.
Yeah.
He could be a draft day trade. Who knows? I mean, they could trade the pick to somebody and, try to get a veteran or, a couple pieces. Porzingis, we talked about it earlier. They could do that. They could pick Brandon Miller, and I think if they do pick Brandon Miller, I think that is a sign that they're trying to move on from the Damian Lillard era.
Really?
I think so. Because look, Dame came out and said, "Look, if I'm gonna stay here, I want to be with a team that's that we're trying to build something. Like we're trying to build something towards a championship." And so I don't know that drafting Brandon Miller does that. You know what I'm saying? I think they need more than Brandon Miller. Well,
obviously they would need more. But I'm sitting here thinking like, Brandon Miller, top, what's the term? Blue chip recruit, whatever the term is. Like he's one of them. He's one of them. At least in college he was. So you kind of think you get him, get the youngin, bring some. I don't know how strapped for cash Portland is to put a team around him. But Anthony Miller, you got to think he's one of them guys that is going to get on the court this year and produce. I ain't saying he's going to score 25 a game, but he going to come in at 18. I think he could come in 15 and 5 of them.
Yeah.
On his way to building it, getting used to the league.
Yeah, right. That's possible. That's possible. Hey, shout out to X Squad Online Radio.
What up?
Facebook live chat. Shout out to the homie Big Kev 303.
What
up?
The
YouTube live chat. Shout out to the Wise Soul. In the YouTube live chat right here. He says if Dame doesn't leave this offseason, he don't want to hear about him talking about this situation anymore. And he said Dame is his dude, but he don't want to hear this no more because we've been hearing this for years now. We've been hearing this for years now. So I feel you, Wise Soul. I feel you. Like, I mean, me personally as a fan of his, I want to see him in the most important games, and that's the playoffs. And I don't know that Portland is going to give him that at this point.
Let's be clear. I do. They're not going to give it to him.
Yeah.
Go to Miami, man. It's way better in Miami for you as far as on and off the court.
Mm-hmm. I think in that situation, Miami, and look, they'd be right to do it. You're giving up Duncan Robinson. You're giving up Tyler Hero, possibly, and maybe another player.
Only person you're trying. I mean, if the world was yours, you would be able to keep Hero, but you got to keep Bam, and then everybody else. I mean, Jimmy Butler, obviously, and everybody else, with respect to Gabe Vincent, with respect to Caleb Martin, everybody else is serviceable.
Yeah. No, I hear you. And all those other guys like Martin and Strus and what's the other kid, Gabe Vincent. Those guys, some of those guys, I think, are free agents too. So
right.
You probably
I know who Vincent is.
Right. So what you probably could do if you're Miami, if you do trade for Lillard, you might still have some flexibility to re-sign a Gabe Vincent or a Max Strus and still be able to kind of keep a portion of the core together in Miami.
Yeah. In my mind, I like Strus can go. I would love to keep Gabe Vincent coming off the bench if I can, but if I can, I get it. And I mean, I guess Caleb Martin, even though he disappeared in the finals, But I would want to keep Vincent and Caleb Martin for certain.
Nah, I hear you. Hey, did you I had a chance to check out just a clip. I want to watch the whole episode, but Julius Randle was on Paul George's podcast earlier this week, and Paul George was asking him about, hey, what's it like playing in New York? And Julius was like, yeah, the fans is crazy, they love you, and da-da-da-da, and all this stuff. And then Paul George was asking him about the chemistry between him and Jalen Brunson. And one of the things Julius said was, hey, it takes less pressure off of me to be not just the scorer, the facilitator. I can do other things while Jalen facilitates the offense. I don't have to worry about that all as much.
Right.
And he also alluded to being able to get better. Like he feels like those two together haven't reached their ceiling yet, which I kind of agree with. It's year one.
Yeah.
And Julius has played all the games. He got hurt late in the season. He just had a procedure on that ankle a few weeks ago, and so I'm kind of with him on the chemistry portion and being able to get better, and the best is yet to come, and I kind of agree with him on that.
Yeah.
It's never a dull moment when Stephen A. finds a way to turn it into a negative about what he said, and I guess his talking point is that I feel like Stephen A. wants to trade Randall so badly.
I mean,
and I think and some fans feel the same way. Like,
that's a reasonable thought.
I don't want to I don't want to poo poo on the fan base or anything like that. But there's a consensus that they want to trade Julius Randle, and the problem for me is that, okay, if you're trading Julius Randle, who are you trading him for? Because unless it's Obi Toppin, I am not trading Julius Randle for biscuits and a large fry. I'm trading Julius Randle to get better, and that would mean that there's somebody that's on the trade block. That means that there's got to be somebody in the Luka, Giannis category of superstar.
Hold on, I'm not now.
What?
Now you're not gonna get Luka. I mean, like,
no, I'm saying if you're trading Julius Randle, I want that kind of a caliber player back. Is what I'm saying.
But that's like top tier caliber. Like, the Karl Anthony Towns comparison is a bit, and I get that you don't. If I remember correctly, you don't want Cat.
Nah.
But the tier, the comparable tier is more along the lines of Karl Anthony Towns than it is Luka.
If we're talking player for player, yes, I agree with you. But we also have first round picks also. So if it's Julius Randle and a multitude of first round picks, then yes, that's enough to compensate for a player of Giannis, Luka, that kind of compensation. So and so that's my point. Like, yes, I understand Julius in the postseason, the past two postseasons, he hasn't been great. If you want to argue that the ankle gave him some problems this go round, okay, fine. I can't argue that. But if we're talking about trading Julius, I'm sorry, I'm not trading Julius just to go to the second round again.
What about if you could get somebody of the ilk of Bam Adebayo?
Does he get me over the hump? Does he get me to the conference finals?
Bam Adebayo, to answer your question, I don't know. To answer your question, but what I will say is that right now, Bam Adebayo is a better player than Julius Randle.
You think so?
I think so. I think he's a two-way player.
Interesting.
I think he's a two-way player. I think he plays better defense than Julius Randle, and
you know what? I'll give you that. I think if you're talking about differences, I think that Bam I don't think is giving you 25 and 10, but I think Bam's defense compensates for that.
Right.
I think Julius, while I think he can play some defense, I think he gets lackadaisical sometimes when he's on the floor when he's trying to play that side of the ball.
Because Bam is, I'm just guessing, I don't know. Mm-hmm. Bam probably averaging what, 19, 20 a game?
Somewhere along those lines.
I think he can get to 23, 24 with Jalen Brunson facilitating and still give you the defense.
Right.
That's my honest opinion. So I'm just saying that as far as, I mean, I agree with you that along with first round picks, you could shoot for somebody like a Giannis and Luka, but obviously you ain't getting them to them.
They're not available. They're not available.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, sure.
But Bam Adebayo is actively in trade rumors for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's something you would shoot for. I think you would shoot for Bam Adebayo if you're keeping Jalen Brunson. And that Bam Adebayo doesn't require some first round picks as the type of player you were talking about.
Right. So I do think he's a Tom Thibodeau player. I do think that when it comes to playing offense and being able to defend, I do think that. How did he play in the postseason this past postseason? I know obviously they got to the finals, but I do recall some games in the postseason where, people was calling for Bam to, step up. And I know he did that in the Denver series. I do recall that. Yeah. I do recall that, but in the series prior, but particularly in that Boston series, I didn't see the consistency from him.
I mean, you didn't see the consistency in Julius Randle either. So,
right, and right. So why am I trading for a player that's inconsistent in the playoffs for another player that's inconsistent in the playoffs?
Because he's slightly better. I think he would end up being a better fit for the Knicks than Julius Randle. That's my thought. Mm-hmm. I don't know for a fact. I think that because who's your point guard in Miami?
Well, that's assuming they trade for Dame. That's assuming that.
Well, no. I'm saying if you're basing it on last year,
right?
I think Julius Randle benefited from having a facilitator. Like he said, he benefited greatly.
Right.
From having a true
and
facilitator.
He was more efficient. I think he was more efficient.
I think Bam would give you. I would reckon to say that Bam would be better offensively and still give you the defense.
25 and 10. Maybe not that.
I think he can get 20. I think he could be 25. I do think he could be 25-10, but it would be a more efficient 25-10. And I know Julius Randle was efficient last year, but I do think Bam would be a more efficient one.
Interesting.
And he'd play better defense.
Okay. Okay. I don't know. Is that slightly better gonna get? And again, I'm all about progress here, and
let's be clear.
They had a successful season.
Yeah.
And for me, and yes, I know Milwaukee's going to come back, Boston's going to come back, and who knows what Philly's going to do. But for me, the next step is conference finals. And if that means you address the shooting issues that we saw in the playoffs, then okay, I'm good with running it back with additional players that can shoot the ball better than what we saw. Yeah. But if you're going to tell me that we've addressed the offseason with replacing Julius Randle with Bam Adebayo and not necessarily improve our shooting woes, then I don't know if I can bank on that team
let's be clear.
Taking the next step.
Well, let's be clear. That's why when you asked me about is Bam going to take over the top?
No. I said I don't know, but no.
You said you don't know. Yeah.
Right, but the reason why I know is because that's not your only problem.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I mean, your major problem is emphatically shooting.
Yeah.
But I do know Bam has been more available to be on the floor than Julius Randle. I do know that Bam plays. He was out to play.
Okay, so I'm thinking about regular
playoffs.
I'm thinking about regular season because Julius played every game until he injured the ankle with I think 2 weeks left in the season with 5 games left.
But we're talking about going to the conference finals though. The conversation.
Sure.
We're focused. It seems. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. We're focused on the Knicks getting further in the playoffs.
Right, and if Randle doesn't.
Which means we're kind of locking in that they're going to make the playoffs.
Right.
We're just talking about how far can we get in the playoffs. I personally think Bam would be better for y'all in the playoffs.
Okay. And I'll go to say if Randle doesn't hurt his ankle, I think we see Julius play in all those games. And who knows how well he'll play because again, we have 2 postseasons of tape where those postseasons haven't been good. One where he's fully healthy, and then the other where, he kind of was working on a bum ankle. So we really kind of don't know yet. I don't know that the sample size is big enough to really determine a fully healthy Julius Randle with a healthy Jalen Brunson in the playoffs. Is he going to give us still the 25 and 10 that he gave us in the regular season? I have yet to see that, and I'm not sure if it's determined that Julius is not the player that we need to go forward or not.
That you need. Right. That's fair. That's fair in 3 seasons.
2 postseasons. Yeah, 2 postseasons. Yeah.
Right.
We got 2 postseasons of
That's
tape.
fair. That's fair.
We
That's
really
fair.
don't know.
How do you feel about Ja being suspended 25 games?
So it's not the games for me. So if you recall, Adam Silver was on TV. This was at the start of the finals a couple weeks ago, and said, "Hey, I don't want to discuss anything about the Ja Morant suspension. I'm gonna wait until after the finals is over, and then we're gonna have a discussion about it." His reasoning was he didn't want to take away focus from the NBA finals. So at first that kind of told me, yo, they about to get this dude the hammer. Like they about to get this dude 50 games to a full season or something like that. And for them to come down with the 25, which I think if you're comparing it to what he got the first time, which was what, 8 games, right? 8 to 10 games. If you compare it to that, okay, they made an improvement on the suspension, second offense and whatnot. Okay, I could see that point. But if you kind of gave us the suspense, like I would have been okay if Silver said, "Hey, he's getting suspended 25 games during the finals." I don't think that would have taken my focus away from the finals. Like 25 games,
I mean, and yeah, sure, it would have been a talking point for a day or two, but it would have been. I don't think 25 games would have been,
top headline news,
right?
Where it's more, I agree with you 100%. I'll tell you what, I know Ja Morant is happy because this could have went way left.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I just hope he chilling now, man. Like, hey, cut the bullshit out.
Yeah, right.
Like, cause now they on social media talking about it wasn't a gun, it was a lighter and all this other retarded shit.
Oh,
hey, bruh,
yeah.
I don't care what it was. Why would you do anything close to it?
Optics.
Why would you, after you just the first time you got caught with it?
Yeah.
Why would you come back a second time and feel like, ooh, I could get this off now?
Yeah,
like
right.
My G.
Right.
It's just it's ignorance. There's no other way. It's ignorance. So he definitely got off gracefully because I've been seeing this on Twitter a lot. No way Stern would have just gave him 25 games.
Yeah, it's right.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Stern would have gave him 45 games. Like, yeah, like that. So
that's crazy. That's
shout out
wild.
to Ja Morant. Hey man, I hope you get together. How much stock do you put into they making the suspension so short because Ja is one of them, and as far as the league, as far as stars in the league, he one of them.
I think the 25 games signifies that. Like they clearly want to market Ja Morant. Like they're not, they're not trying to give him, any more than that, or at least that's what Silver made it seem that way. But they clearly want to market Ja Morant. And I think he's gonna get. And to be honest, I honestly think if he pulls another stunt like this again, they probably still gonna they might give him more game suspensions, but it'll probably be like 35, 40 games or something like that. And they still gonna, treat him as, you still one of our up and coming faces of the league. And so I think if this is anybody else, the game suspensions will probably be more. Mm-hmm. And they might be close. I don't want to say out the league completely, but I think they'd be a few steps closer to being out the league than a star of Ja Morant's ilk would be.
Yeah. And then even after, and this kind of seconds what you're saying, even after they, they announced the suspension and Ja came out and they did his PR apology, Mikey immediately came out behind him like, we put him, apparently they're gonna drop the shoes is still coming. Like,
right.
They ain't slowing down. They behind it. So it's very clear that Ja Morant has dunked on enough motherfuckers to get some grace. And hey man, good for him, and good for him for real. Cause it's how often does a black man get grace in America?
Yeah.
So
right.
Good, I mean, good for him. Just hey man, stop the bullshit, man. Let's keep dunking on motherfuckers. Let's get this mid range jumper going, so we can so you can shut shit down.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. But yeah, I can't wait till he returns to the court, man. So 25 games, you're talking about what, a month and a half or 2 months worth of games. So yeah,
they'll be fine. They'll be
all right.
They played well with him being gone. I get it. It's a 15 game difference. Between last year and what he's going to get this year. But they'll be fine. They'll be fine.
Yeah, they'll be good. I'm interested to see where Dylan Brooks goes because he's a free agent and they made it clear that they're not bringing him back. So
yeah,
I'd be interested to see where he goes. I wonder how much he's gonna command, like as far as dollars.
Command? I don't think he's gonna command shit. I think he's gonna. I mean, like command is a bad word.
Okay, how much money is somebody gonna pay this guy?
Look, man, I don't know how much he was getting in Memphis, to be honest with you, to answer that question. But what I'll say is that, well, I'll say this first.
Yeah.
He was wrongfully, if he was kind of, I kind of feel sympathy for him. I don't feel like he should have been cut. They asked him to be that player, and he did what they asked him to do. And because it backfired on them, they cut him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
right.
I didn't like that. I didn't care for that. And I know my opinion wasn't that earlier when it closer to when it happened.
Yeah.
What I would say is he'll go somewhere. Hopefully he learned his lesson. Leave LeBron the fuck alone. Like that. That's the only lesson to be learned. Leave LeBron the fuck alone.
Yeah, right.
And go on to play ball. He can go. I mean, he can literally go back to all the shit he was doing with the ugly jumper and everything. Just leave LeBron the fuck alone, and he would probably still be with the Grizzlies.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
leave LeBron the fuck alone. And so I hope he learned that. If he goes to the East, hey, leave Giannis the fuck alone. It's just certain people that you don't have the right to talk to yet.
Yeah, that's wild. Hey, let's talk about this because you and I, we kind of briefly talked about it before we started the show, and Mariah Mills has resurfaced on Twitter again this week.
She never disappeared from Twitter this week.
Well, for a couple of days she did. She was quiet for a couple of days, but then she came back with all the rant tweets and stuff, and so now Twitter has suspended her account. Because of all the rants and stuff. So tell me what you think at this point. I don't want to say too much here.
At this point, she need to just go ahead and sit down. It's over. Look, me and you talked about it briefly. Shout out to my source. I'm not going to reveal. She tweeted today, or it had to be before she got suspended, obviously.
Yeah. That
she was going to leak Slim in a video doing whatever it was he be doing with Shorty. Man, you had a conversation, was it 2 weeks ago? Where my source, that's I feel like I'm one of them ESPN niggas.
There you go. Step the game up.
Hey, I feel like I'm one of them niggas now.
Step the game up.
A source said to me, I will paraphrase what was texted. The text I received.
Okay.
After that show 2 weeks ago, I will paraphrase it. I'm looking for the text. I should have had it ready because I knew you was going to ask me. There you go. Paraphrasing. This is only me paraphrasing. I was feeling bad for her. She has truly been on a rampage for a minute. One of the reasons I got out. She is seriously obsessive and greatly into herself. Great eye candy, dangerous personality. Source also said.
Thank you, sir.
Source also hinted that she has been trying to leak this video via somebody else for at least 2 weeks now. Where she didn't want to be the one who put it out, even though anybody with a brain would have known that it would.
If it didn't come from her directly, she would have hired someone to do it. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. Yeah. But source says that's what was about to happen, and that she was just looking for somebody to leak it. And that's super crazy. Quite frankly, that is crazy. We're gonna take a pause for the calls to bring in the guests.
Yes, absolutely. Let's welcome back Reeta, the NFL chick Hubbard. You could catch her here in this area, Baltimore, 105.7 The Fan every Sunday afternoon. Also, has got a couple of podcasts that's out right now. Winning Drive, which is a Ravens-related podcast, and also the Gridiron Gals. And you could catch her on Brother from Another on Peacock. Reeta, thank you for coming in. And you and I were briefly texting a little bit, and I was getting a little worried that something happened to you. But I'm glad you're all right.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I've had a day. So I am here. I hope you guys can accept my apology.
Oh, absolutely.
Of course we can.
And by the way,
you Hollywood, Shawty.
Yes. And by the way, that was an awesome event that you and Dee put on New Year's Eve.
Okay.
Wanted to give you a shout out for that. And for certain, because the Steeler fan that was talking all the smack to Tiffany before we left, and you kind of came in and kind of, had our back a little bit. I certainly appreciate that too.
You should put that towel down because she was kind of embarrassing.
I don't know what she did, but
this young lady she did not represent the yellow and black nation very well. So you might.
Hey.
Yeah, so she was.
It was a few of y'all. Aggressive. It was a few of them. It was a few of y'all over there looking.
No, it wasn't because it was more of y'all anyway. Because people was out of town, and it was New Year's Eve. People had stuff going on.
Yeah, people in the city had things to do.
Yeah, that young lady was a little aggressive, so she calmed down.
Yeah, I had to calm her down and give her a keychain, Maestro, and she was all good after that. She was all good after that. You see what
our merch does, bro? Our merch calms people down, man.
That's what our merch does. There you go. Hey, Reeta, so you came in and we were in the middle of this Mariah Mills conversation. I'm a kind of throw an audible at you because I don't think I've really gotten your opinion on all this.
But I've seen it
on all this Zion Williamson stuff with Mariah Mills, and she came out again today, lashing out on Twitter. Her account suspended now by Twitter, so I know that's a relief. I know you posted that was a relief. You didn't want to hear from her no more, but overall, like your thoughts on all this and where you think this is gonna, what's the conclusion of all this?
I hope Zion got a restraining order on that young lady. I mean, she is tweeted about extortion, which I'm surprised that the Twitter took so long to suspend her account, because I was like, hey, this is illegal. You can't say stuff like that, Miss Ma'am.
Yeah.
But if I'm Zion, first and foremost, you need to stop talking to her, because I think that she had posted, I guess he had reached out and was like, can you stop doing this or whatever? Hey, stop talking to her, right? You're just feeding it. And then secondly, this young lady is, in my opinion, looking to move this into some type of Zeus TV show at this point, because no one likes anybody this much. Like Zion allegedly had a girlfriend that he had been with a while, like even before he, when he was at Duke. And that girl hasn't even said anything. So that young man was just sleeping with you, Miss Ma'am. Y'all were not in a real relationship. I believe that you probably did catch a little feelings, but your money is now at stake because you're a 30-year-old former porn star. And this is not me judging her profession.
Yeah.
She said she was retired.
Yeah.
So my thing is that she worried about the money, that's the income, because if somebody's supplying you with some money and now they're talking about they having a baby, it might change things a little bit, right? So she's worried about her coins.
Yep.
And I also think that she's trying to find some type of deal going on with all of this tweeting, because nobody tweets for almost 2 weeks the way that she does. Like nobody.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. So rumors have it that she was getting $107K a month in their dealings. I would hope that she was doing this like get the consolation prize. If the consolation prize is $35K a month, like take the $35K and be quiet.
It's better than $0 a month. But now I feel like she's getting nothing because you know she keeps talking, and I wouldn't give her a dime after this.
Yeah.
One tweet was her threatening to leak videos of some nastiness being involved. Now, I was telling the people before you got on that a source, I've been working on that new term. A source said to me that he was offered that video about 2 weeks ago, and he declined. Because he didn't want to be messy and all those types of things, and even went on to say to me that in his interactions with her, she has knowingly been obsessive, and it has had a dangerous personality from his encounters with her, or their encounter. Damn, I done fucked the source thing up already. But
damn, you're learning, man. You're learning.
I was trying. I never had a source. I've never had a source. To that, man, it's about to get nasty out here, Reeta. It's about to get real nasty out here.
He better lawyer up and put a cease and desist on this lady, because at this point, this is just I want this saga to end. I want out of the group chat. Okay, please pick me out.
Yeah,
of the group chat.
Yeah, right. I want to see the man on the court. Like, forget all the the sex stuff and all that. I want to see you fully healthy and ready to play basketball this coming season. And I'll allude to what Maestro said last week on the show. All that, that time off and, the weight and all that stuff, that was from him, getting involved with her.
Yeah.
Well, hey, when you having fun, you ain't worried about all of that extra stuff. So
I will even go as far to say is that all that weight gain, she got something to do with all that damn weight gain. But God bless. But I digress. I guess I gotta let y'all pontificate about the Ravens offseason. And I'm gonna try my best for the sake of content and those who care about the Ravens to not throw no shade.
It's okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm gonna try my best. It's the off season. No, it's the off season, so I'm gonna try to be a little like on a 97 degree day. I'm gonna be a little small tree.
Okay.
Presenting some shade.
You wow, man. but I do want to get to the off season topic, but before I get into that, so I've been waiting for the Ravens schedule to come out, and I've been looking at possible road games for this team. And I remember, back in 2017, me and my wife, we went to Minneapolis and went to the Ravens-Vikings game. This was when they opened up the new Viking Stadium and all that. And it was a cool trip. We went to Paisley Park to see Prince's museum and stuff like that. And so I'm looking at the schedule this year, and I'm like, ooh, we got San Francisco, we got Nashville, L.A. And I know you're disappointed about the Nashville one because that's actually the London game, so people wouldn't be going to Nashville. They'd be going to London for that game.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie to you, Reeta. I got a cousin that stays out in a town called Antioch, California, which is on the East Bay of the Bay Area there. And I got to tell you, this game couldn't fall on a better day. And I know you don't like that it fell on Christmas, but for me, with a guy that's got a 7-year-old and an 8-year-old, I ain't got to worry about taking them out of school. I got, the PTO. I could take less PTO for that. And I already got, I'm in talks with my family and, cousins and stuff. We looking into Airbnbs and flights, and we looking into all that stuff. So, but for you, which road game are you looking forward to? Because I know you like to travel to these different stadiums and stuff.
So actually, I am gonna go to San Fran for Christmas.
That's what's up.
And so we're making it actually a family trip. My parents are going.
Nice.
My sisters, mother, and brothers are going. So we're gonna, make that a family trip. That should be really fun. No, I didn't love that it was on Christmas because I feel like the flights are gonna be ridiculous. Hotels.
Oh, yeah.
But I decided just to go ahead and make a trip of it. I don't have young children. My son is grown. So, for me, I've always wanted to travel during Christmas. So I guess this gave me the opportunity to do just that. So I'm going to make a trip of it. I'm going to go to wine country for a little bit and then, head on down and go to the game. So it should be fun. Hoping that maybe that there's some action going on in between like Sacramento and Golden State while we're out there. Maybe we can catch a game. So,
yes.
NBA schedule is not out there. It's not out yet, but
right.
It's coming out soon. So we'll figure that part out. So that one I was looking forward to Nashville, and I am not a fan of dreary weather and beans and toast, so I will not be going across the pond to London because my travel experiences are typically intertwined with weather and food. And while I'm very well aware that the Bay Area isn't like LA in Christmas, it's not super warm.
Right.
I mean, I know to eat good at the very least, and I'm also saying I'm going to Napa. So to me, that outweighs everything. I'm not going to London. I'm sorry, I'm not interested.
Right.
We're also doing a girls trip to Arizona because Arizona is
the Cardinals game.
Yeah, Arizona. And I've been to that stadium before. I went when they played in 2015. But
okay.
This trip, I say it's a girls trip. It is a girls trip because it's all girls. But Arizona is known for their spas, so we're gonna go to the spa and do that. And then those who want to go to the game will go to the game. Those who don't. But should be fun. So those are two games that I am going to. I really would love to go to a divisional game. I've been to Pittsburgh quite a few times. So I'm kind of like, okay, well, but I've never been to Cincinnati. I've never been to Cleveland. Have you guys ever been to either one?
Not the stadiums, but
I'm talking about the stadiums. Yeah.
Okay, not the state, but I've been to Cleveland and Pittsburgh.
Yes, for sure. I mean, I've been to Cleveland as well, but I just never been. So I would like to go to a division game. I think that would be fun. So.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun too. But I want to be safe also. So you know what I'm saying? I don't want no smoke with anybody out there.
It's funny you mentioned that because I was going to talk about that one time we went to a Baltimore-Pittsburgh game in Baltimore.
Yeah.
And I thought it was about to go down because I was still down, but it was just me and you.
Right.
And
right.
And I thought it was about to go down, but it didn't go down. Thankfully, I got out of there safe. But,
I just remember homie stepped on your terrible towel.
What happened was is they snatched it out my back pocket and I didn't feel it. This was a different time.
Right.
Jeans were baggier, clothes were bigger. It was a different time.
Yeah.
And
they snatched it, and then somebody tapped me. Was like, "Oh, they snatched it," and then they were stomping the joint, and then
got you.
So when approaching, they kind of dispersed or whatever, but. Because at that point, I was like, man, I'm going to have to fight 3 people, and Trey just going to have to ride.
I'd have fought him.
I know you would have.
Oh, nah. Nobody mess with my bro.
Yeah,
I mean, no matter what.
But I see that, and that's like automatic disrespect. Like, oh, okay, well, I got to go. And then.
Right. Oh,
and that was before the game had even started. So I was like, oh, my God, I don't want this to happen. But,
it was a Sunday night game. It was a Sunday night game.
We saw the game, thankfully, safe.
Yeah, exactly. But Reeta, into your point about the Warriors too. So, Mom is a big basketball fan. So, most likely the Warriors are more likely going to play on Christmas Day.
Yeah, they probably will. If I had to guess.
Yeah, I have to guess they probably going to play a home game on Christmas too. So that's going to be a bit interesting too, given that the Niners game and Ravens game is the same night. So we'll see what happens there. Yep. But as far as like the offseason's concerned, and we finally got Lamar, his contract, his money. I'd have to say, Reeta, you were right. He does. At the time, he did need an agent. But I still
stand by that.
Right.
I still stand.
Right.
I still stand by that. He's lost 2 years of revenue by not having an agent.
Yep. Yep. So. I agree. Which is why I say, yeah, I'm with you that yes, he needs an agent, but I do give him props because they finally got the deal done and he did it without an agent. So, so with this team now, man, Odell Beckham is in this lineup now with Zay Flowers and hopefully a healthy Devin Duvernay coming back with Rashad Bateman coming back healthy. I got this team going to the Super Bowl, and you could call me crazy, and I know you're gonna be, you're gonna be objective. I know you're gonna be objective because you know you work for the station and all that. Where do you see this team?
Hold on, son.
What?
No.
What?
Where's this energy coming from, dog? Where's this energy coming from?
Oh, it's too early? It's too early?
I'm sorry, Reeta. I'm sorry that he brought that out of me. We just did an AFC North panel just recently, and you wasn't talking like that.
Oh, things changed, man.
What happened, bro? That was like last week we just did an AFC North panel. What happened, bro?
Things changed, man. And maybe because Rita's on, so I gotta show out. But
all right. I take that. I'm sorry, Rita. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
That was crazy what he just did right now. He tried to. He didn't even, say it boldly. He just slid it in oh, that's off the humble.
Definitely slid it in. For me, yes, I am going to be a little bit objective. Do I think that this team is very good on paper? Sure. I do. I think that they have some things. They also have a lot of question marks, right? They do not know who their left guard is going to be. They have a new offensive coordinator. They have 2 new wide receivers, 3, if you want to include Nelson Aguilar. That's up to you if you want to. But Zay and Odell, Odell does know the offense because he was in Cleveland with Monken. But ultimately, I have to give this team a little bit of grace. And in the AFC, because the AFC is so good, if they have a slow start, it can affect their finish. Now, if you go and rolling in, then that's good, right? But in terms of standings early on, I just feel like that this team is going to have to find a way to gel. Now, they do get lucky because they play the Texans, they play the Colts.
AFC South, basically.
Yeah, they play the Colts. They play those teams early on, even though I do think they play Cincinnati within the first 4 weeks. But ultimately, their schedule is very hard at the end of the season, which honestly, that's when they need to get it together the most.
Right.
So they do have margin for error in terms of their strength of schedule in the beginning, but in the end, they don't. So they're really going to have to figure out how to really come together offensively. Defensively, I don't have too much of an issue. Obviously, Oweh is a big question mark. Is he going to finally be who the Ravens thought he would be? I think Jabo is going to be phenomenal.
Yeah.
But they also could use probably one more outside linebacker. So for me, do I think that this team on paper looks ready to compete to a Super Bowl? Yes, but ultimately, it's just too many question marks. We don't know if Odell is going to be able to stay healthy. We don't know if Rashad Bateman is going to be able to stay healthy. We don't know if Zay Flowers is going to be the guy that we project him to be. And so, there's that part of it. But I'm excited to see how this is all going to unfold. I think that the AFC North is the hardest division and to do all of that. Everybody is competitive. I expect every team to be competitive. Cleveland now has their quarterback back for the whole year, so that'll be interesting. Yeah. And, you can't never count the Steelers out in terms of that rivalry. And of course, the Bengals, as much shit as they talk, they're there. They did go to the AFC Championship game, so you got to kind of give them kudos. Although losing that secondary the way that they did is nasty business, and I think that they're ripe for the picking. But
me too. By the way.
Yeah, so it'll be fun. if they can get out of their own division and win it, yeah, they really have a good opportunity because, playing 6 games against those teams is a lot. And so it should be fun to see how this plays out. They're going to play some of the best. Mm-hmm. And they're going to be tested early on to see how good they'll be if they can compete for the Super Bowl. So, yeah, I definitely believe they should make the playoffs.
Right. On the panel that me and Maestro did last week, I made the argument that all 4 teams could possibly get into the playoffs. I mean, I said it earlier, we're playing the AFC South, and you got 3 bad teams in that division, in my book. I mean, Jacksonville is the one team that has a chance to be better. Everybody else is just garbage for the moment. We'll see how it plays out, but it wouldn't shock me if all these teams even finished 500 or better. It wouldn't shock me at all.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep, I agree, and I agree with you that the Bengals are ripe for the George picking. Absolutely.
You had that in the chamber, huh?
I cooked it.
He had that in the chamber.
I cooked it real quick.
Could not wait to use it.
Zay Flowers, what do you think is the ceiling for him going into the season?
I'm excited to see Zay. I've seen a lot of his tape from Boston College. I do not watch ACC football. It is very boring. It does nothing for me. So I'm not gonna be. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you that I know Zay Flowers very well.
Right.
And he plays for Boston College. Like, and you won't even play for
right.
It wasn't even like Clemson or Florida State.
Right.
You would pay attention to. So I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you and say that I knew in terms of. I mean, I knew about him. I knew his name, but I never watched his game in real time. Yeah. So I had an opportunity to watch him, and man, like he can. His route running is really good. And he got a nice second gear that I really, really like. He's in a good position because if the Ravens get healthy Bateman, get a healthy OBJ, they can put them on the outside and use him in, he could be used. Why is my brain not working? But thank you. He could be used in the slot. And I don't know who's going to cover him. I honestly don't know who's going to cover him. He's not afraid to go across the middle. Mm-hmm. I like that, because people were like, oh, he's like Hollywood. Yeah, Hollywood didn't like going across the middle.
At all.
Different.
At all.
And he didn't have the hops that Zay Flowers has.
I mean, but Hollywood was really good at one thing, right? Which was like go routes because he was fast, right? So for Zay, he can do pretty much a lot of the route tree, if not most or all of it. And so a guy that's not afraid to go across the middle is really going to do great things for you. So I'm excited to see, what he's going to be able to do. And again, he doesn't have the pressure of having to come in and being the guy what Rashad Bateman had to go through when he was drafted. So he's allowed to develop in his time. He's behind, like I said, OBJ, he's behind Bateman. Mark Andrews to me is like a receiver. So he really has time to develop on his own time and then be able to be more productive as the season goes on. So I'm excited to see. I mean, look, it's very possible that Bateman might not be ready for the season because as of right now, he's caught his own shots in his foot. That's a very interesting injury. So he might have to place him outside, but I don't think that he would do bad at doing that. So it'll be fun. I'm excited to see what he can do on this level. Because from what I've seen, he was very good at what he could do on the collegiate level.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same things I've said about Zay Flowers. He's got hops. He could fly down the field, and I'm really excited to see what this guy can do. Reeta, talk to me about J.K. Dobbins because I go back to that playoff game in Cincinnati, and I've said it a million times in the offseason. If they just gave the ball to him or even Gus Edwards at the goal line, we beat Cincinnati, and we're playing the Chiefs in the second round. He expressed his frustration for not getting the ball as much in the game.
As he does every time he's frustrated.
Right.
But,
Right. He expressed his frustration, and now there appears to be whether he's going to be in Baltimore in the future or not. Allude to that for me and let us know like where does that stand? Like does he have to play out his full contract, or is he in the middle of trying to fight for another contract?
I mean, obviously, he's in the last year of his rookie deal, so he's trying to get a new deal. I don't know how successful he's going to be in doing that because, you're fighting right now for a position that it does not get paid. It's not high on the food chain, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
I was on Brother from Another earlier, and one of the things that I learned on that show today was that there's only one group of people who get paid less than running backs, and that is special teams. So running back literally is at the bottom of the running backs are at the bottom of the barrel. Unfortunately, you're trying to get a contract at a time where teams, not just the Ravens, but all teams don't really value running backs the way that they should. I think that Saquon Barkley should be an exception.
I agree
to that rule because of the impact that he has on that team.
Yeah, right.
Ultimately, he wants a new deal, and I don't blame him. I think that he should want a new deal. That being said, I do sympathize with running backs because I don't like the ideal that we have that running backs are they can be throwaway type players, and they're asked to do a lot. They're asked to run the ball, sometimes between the tackles, sometimes off tackle, whatever. They're also asked to pass protect. They're also asked to make some plays in pass situations, in the flat. So it's not like they just do one thing. They do multiple things, and to find someone that's really good at doing multiple things, like for example, maybe a Christian McCaffrey, to me, they should be valued by what they do and how they contribute to their teams.
Yeah.
And I think that we can all agree that, although San Fran is a good team, and I'm not going to take that away from them.
Yeah.
McCaffrey made them better, and it absolutely helped Brock Purdy while he was dealing with it being intricate part of that offense.
Absolutely.
Being a 6th-round dude. So I sympathize with JK. The problem is that he doesn't have history on his side because he's missed a lot of games.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the running back, how people view and value running backs on his side, because that's a situation. I mean, Dalvin Cook is literally still out there. Kareem Hunt is still out there.
Right.
So he's not going to get what he probably thinks he's going to get. And so that's something that he's going to have to come to terms with. Is it worth, doing that? And I don't know any other team that's going to pay him the way he might want to be paid, simply because he's missed a year and a half of time in his 3-year tenure. Yeah. So, it'll be interesting because I definitely felt like he was doing a hold in where he reported, but he didn't play, and he didn't confirm that, but he also didn't deny it either.
Yeah,
so,
right.
That's how that goes. But it'll be interesting to see how this unfolds, because I just don't see the Ravens saying we're going to pay you $9 million to be here and be a running back, if we feel like that we have other good running backs behind you, and Gus Edwards and Justice Hill. And that's not me saying, because I do believe that JK is the best running back on this team by far.
By far. Yeah,
absolutely. It's not a question. But the problem is that, again, they're probably like, okay, but we don't need Christian McCaffrey. We just need somebody that can do this.
I'll say
they'd be right. And they'd be right.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll say this, though, in defense of JK, because going back to the 2021 season, the injury-riddled season, and I don't know how you feel about this, Reeta, but it felt to me at times that the lack of his presence was felt. And maybe it was the offense, maybe it was Greg Roman's system, or maybe it was who we replaced the running back position with. Who was it? The kid from Atlanta, Devontae Freeman.
They had quite a few.
Right, Devontae Freeman. And I watched Devontae Freeman that year, and it's like, okay, he's cool, but he don't give you what JK can give you. Like, he can, make you miss in the open field. Like, JK can give you that, side-to-side movement, and none of the guys there could do that. So I felt like his presence was, like, the lack of him not being there was felt that season. And so I'll side with him on that, but you're right. Like,
well, wasn't Gus Edwards also injured that year?
Gus was. Yes, he was.
Yeah, you're right.
They all were. Right, they all were.
Right.
They all were.
Gus, Justice Hill,
they all
and
were.
JP were out, so they had to find literally guys off the street, basically.
Yeah.
So that's
true.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, so it's kind of like, all right, well, if we would have just had Gus Edwards, then maybe J.K. Dobbins, that missing factor isn't as high. If at least Gus Edwards was healthy, you know what I'm saying?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I mean, I don't like it. I blamed Ty Montgomery, Cordell Patterson. I blame those kind of wide receivers turn running backs.
That
were good. That turned out being good or at least efficient for whoever they played for in their respective year. I blame those guys where now coaches and money spenders can say, well, hell, if we can get Ty Montgomery to come, y'all picked up Ty Montgomery off that Green Bay year, and just say, hey, and he was efficient. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of that thing, and I agree with you that it sucks that it's that way, but it just is that way.
It's the business, unfortunately.
Unfortunately,
it just is that
yeah.
way.
And Saquon, you mentioned Saquon, he's finding out too, and I agree with you. The Giants aren't where they are without Saquon Barkley last year. I mean, that was evident. So they gave
no way Dalvin Cook should still be on the street.
Exactly.
I completely agree.
Exactly.
No way.
Agreed.
No way.
What you think, Reeta? I said the best place for Dalvin Cook would be Buffalo because Buffalo needs a running back, I think, very badly. Or a running back like that very badly. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think I think we all felt like that would be his perfect landing spot. Because like you said, Buffalo, Singletary ain't gonna do it.
Nah.
He's just not good enough. And Dalvin Cook can also catch passes, so we know that's a pass happy offense. He can do both. He can, he can be efficient in both of those things. I would not be surprised though. Also, if like Kansas City kind of, took the top. And I get it. Pacheco, dude, he's not bad. He a rookie, so he played well.
Yeah.
But he's not Dalvin Cook either. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, both things can be true. He played well, but then there's a guy out there that's available that's better. So
that's better.
Right.
It's very possible that they could kick some tires on it. But yeah, I really thought that Buffalo would be the best bet. I don't think Buffalo has a lot of money. And which is why we've heard the whole thing about Stephon Diggs being unhappy because he restructured his deal and to try to clear up some money. And I guess they haven't made any moves yet. But ultimately, they're a little cap strapped.
I heard that he wanted the Bills to go get D-Hop.
Yes, that's the rumor. The rumor is he reconstructed his deal to get D-Hop, and then they haven't done that yet. And he's like, what are y'all doing? So,
another guy that's out there. That's just what NFL, what are we doing, y'all?
But I want the Ravens to grab him just so nobody else will, quite frankly.
Yeah, exactly.
I bet you
exactly.
would. I bet you would.
Look, I just don't want the likes of Kansas City, Buffalo. Right. I don't want them grabbing them,
Right. Yeah, hell, I'd grab Dalvin Cook if I could.
Well, listen, it's funny because it's been like people been going around asking, well, how would a trade work? Because we know that Minnesota doesn't have a running back. Well, not Dalvin Cook anyway.
Right.
And they are trying to trade their linebacker Hunter. So there's rumor that potentially they could trade JK there.
Wow.
They could trade JK and for Hunter, and then potentially try to grab a Dalvin.
That would be a good trade.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna. That would be a good trade. That would be a good trade. That would be a good trade. Top AFC North players in Reeta's mind.
Top five
AFC North players. Am I including my own or not?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
So this is no particular order.
Yeah.
Nope.
This will not be any particular order. Let's see. That's kind of hard.
It is.
So of course I have to say Lamar.
Yep.
I have to say Burrow. I'd have to say Jamar Chase. Then the other two kind of get murky.
Do they really? It's your list. It
is hard though.
You know,
I don't think so.
I'm gonna add Roquan to that list, and then I'm gonna add who I believe.
Oh, you're gonna piss him off. Go ahead.
No, this actually is going to not piss him off.
Oh, okay.
I think that Pickens is a great player, and yeah, I say that because I like Amari Cooper, but I feel like Amari Cooper's prime he's a little bit past his prime, is where Pickens is.
I think he's going to have a monster season.
I think he's potentially going to be the guy the number one guy. So there's that. So he'll have more opportunities, I think, this season. So again, I like Amari Cooper. Deshaun Watson, he's a good quarterback. But having good players around you makes it better. But I am curious to know if Amari Cooper, where he stands in terms of like, is he still playing at a high level? And I like the young bull. I like Pickens a lot. So I think that he's set up to potentially have a really great year.
Interesting.
Okay. Now, what you think, Trey?
I was just gonna ask you, Maestro.
All right, well, I'll go then.
Yeah.
And by the way, I love that. I love the George Pickens pick just because.
Of course you do.
NFL young boy, but I can't leave TJ Watt out of the AFC North conversation.
That's a bad. You know what? I'll trade Pickens for Watt.
For Watt. Much better.
Pickens is an honorable mention.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to lie to you. I have tried to get TJ Watt out of my memory after what he did to my guy, my left tackle Ronnie Stanley. So that's my. Yes, TJ Watt is definitely on my list. He's definitely on my list.
And
I apologize to TJ Watt immensely.
I'm sure he accepts. I was about to go on a tangent. I'll ask it. Fuck it, we're here now. Y'all think that TJ? I was watching TJ Watt on Ben Roethlisberger podcast. Has he ever struck anybody as a dickhead?
Well, it is apparently been a thing that he and his brother are very like throw my head in the wall type dudes. I don't, for lack of a better term, that's just who they are apparently. So that is not out of what I've heard about them to me. I heard that they are very like football,
it's a football family.
And then very, I'm trying to think of the words I'm trying to use, like frat boyish, like, like, they throw heads and do stuff like that, right? Like I've always heard that about them. So
maybe that's what
I'm not surprised.
Because I don't like those kind of people.
No. Look, he played good football. So
absolutely.
You have to like him off the field. For real.
I love him on the field, and I don't even know him off the field to say it. But I watched him there, and then I thought about him and Taylor Lewan's little exchange they was having when we was trying to get Taylor to come to Pittsburgh, and and I guess Taylor had done something to him on the field, and he was trying to mend the fences, and TJ Watt wasn't having it. He wasn't trying to had no conversation with him, and that kind of rubbed me the wrong way because I wanted Taylor Lewan to come to Pittsburgh. And then I was watching, like I said, and interesting enough, he claims that he didn't even get interested into football until JJ Watt started playing.
That's great. I mean, big brother, little brother.
Yeah,
thing.
Right.
I can see how that goes.
Right. But I agree with your list. I would have put Nick Chubb in there, though.
I can't move the other guys from Nick Chubb, though. That's the thing. Like, I can't. Who am I taking out? I'm not taking out Roquan. I'm not taking out Chase.
Yeah, I'm taking out Roquan.
There you go. Yeah, I would have.
I'm not taking out. Roquan literally single-handedly made that defense.
True.
So I just can't do that.
True. I do like your list too, Reeta. So on my top 5, I would have had Lamar, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. I did have Nick Chubb. I did have T.J. Watt, but I'm gonna tell you, I struggled between Nick Chubb and Myles Garrett because I think Myles Garrett is a beast too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is a beast, but I don't like how they keep putting him over T.J. Watt, like T.J. Watt ain't been doing what T.J. Watt ain't been doing. That's all I like. Myles Garrett is a beast. Let me be clear on that. But I don't like how
Myles Garrett's fault.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, you're right. He a beast, but I don't like how they treating T.J. Watt in replacement of Myles Garrett or T.J. How they treat T.J. Right, that's what
right.
I don't like it.
Yeah, I got to put Nick Chubb there. I mean, one of the very few running backs that's like top 3, top 2 in the league. I can't leave him off of a list like that, you know.
Can't.
So
I can't. But I could get. I mean, would you cop to it being a little bit of bias?
As far as
Roquan Smith.
Oh, Roquan?
No.
Roquan is top 3 at his position.
I don't really do that. I watched him literally turn a defense around.
Yeah. I was gonna say Patrick Queen was more effective with him in the lineup.
He's that good. Like I don't really like to. I like to be objective. I really do.
Okay.
Because I think it's fair. I think it's best to be that way because look, just because I don't like somebody and just because that don't mean that they're not a good player. I do think that Nick Chubb is a great player. I do.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm not going to argue it to be on anybody else's top 5 at all. And I can understand why you'd be like, oh, okay, I'd put Nick Chubb over Roquan. I get it. And I'm not mad at that.
Right.
But like I'm just, I think because I saw it in real time, like how much better this defense is once they acquired Roquan is why, I have the opinion that I have in terms of the top 5. So, and like you said, he made Patrick Queen better. He made a lot of people better, quite frankly, because when you can cover the middle of the field, it's murky seasons. Okay, the Orioles are getting on my nerves. Okay.
Well, let's talk about that. So I don't want to get too much into the team because I got Yankee stuff behind me, and so we kind of rivals or not. But I thought about this. So we watched Philadelphia have 2 teams in the respective championships last year with the Phillies and in the World Series and the Eagles in the Super Bowl. I feel like, and maybe it's just me, maybe because I live, in the area here, I feel like Baltimore is going to have some buzz popping with the Orioles contending for a playoff spot. They're sitting pretty nice right now. Over my Yankees, I got to give y'all credit where it's due. I really think that this city is going to be popping come October, November, when the Ravens are starting to get it rolling and the Orioles are in the playoffs. What do you think? How you feel about that?
I mean, I hope so. I mean, here the AL East is such a bloodbath, and it's funny because they're playing the Rays. They were up 7-0. Now it's 7-6. So it's like
snap.
Snap. So it's like and look, the Rays got the best. They have the best record in baseball.
Yeah,
they're that good. I do think that the AL East could potentially have 4 teams come into the playoffs because baseball now allows 3 wild cards.
Yep.
So it's very possible that the Orioles, Yankees, Rays, and Blue Jays find a way to get into the playoffs, which will be really fun, right? Because I feel like at some point, 2 of those teams are going to have to play each other. Obviously,
right.
All 4 of them make the playoffs. That should be fun. So hope so. I mean, this city really is so much better when the Orioles are playing well because the Ravens, for the most part, are competitive.
Yep.
Even in seasons where they didn't make the playoffs, they were competitive. They were still in the thick of it. And so, you kind of get spoiled with that. But then the Orioles have kind of given you just like, So I'm just looking forward to hoping that they can really compete. I mean, first of all, in their own division, because, you say that, the Yankees are eventually going to get their guys back. And when they do, that's when it's going to all turn around. And that's when it's going to become problematic. But I just think that, it'll be a blast. I feel like, so 2014, the Orioles went to the ALCS.
Yep.
And that was the same year
against Kansas City. Yep.
And that was the same year that the Ravens went to the divisional round against the Patriots. So
yep.
That was a great time in the city. Now, obviously, neither one advanced, but
right.
You know, it was just fun. You know, you would not only had one but two teams that you rooted for and that were doing really well at the same time. 2012, they went to the playoffs. I know that the Yankees beat them in that series.
Yep.
But you know, still, same time, Ravens make the Super Bowl. Orioles was in the playoffs for the first time in like 15 years.
Right. Yep.
That was a phenomenal time. The city is just way more fun when the Orioles and the Ravens are both like good teams. So,
I agree with you. Because after 2014, you had the Freddie Gray riots and
2016 they did it. They went, I think.
Oh. They did, but they lost.
They
lost. They lost. They Buck put what's his name in?
That's the game when they didn't put in
Ubaldo.
They didn't put in the closer.
Right. They put Ubaldo ass in there.
That was Zach Britton year that they didn't put Zach Britton in and they lost. In the wild card game. So we ain't seen no action since 2016. I'm tired. You know, I would like to see some fun. And I go to the ballpark every Tuesday that they play at home. I've made that intentional act on my behalf because I think it's important to show support to the team. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I don't think that they're going to move. But at the end of the day, what are you doing to stop that from happening? You have to go out to go support. So I've been doing my part. I've just been going out and supporting the kids. It's been fun. So
was that a serious thing though? Them relocating?
No, I don't think that was.
I didn't think so.
A thing. But the John lives in Nashville, so that kind of spearheaded some.
Oh, yeah.
And also,
them moving to Nashville.
Right now, he hasn't signed the lease, but that's because they want to create. I don't know if anybody has ever been to Chicago, but they want to create like the Wrigleyville field. It's a bunch of bars and a bunch of areas around the stadium. They want to create that type of atmosphere.
Well, Camden Yards got that kind of.
Not really. No, Wrigleyville is different. It's different. Like it's way more bars, way more restaurants. It's a lot of action going around Wrigley. So they want. I mean, you just got Pickles and 771. That's literally it.
Okay, that's what I was thinking about. I was like, wait,
no,
they want
a whole block.
Yeah, they don't even.
But I've never been to Wrigley, so I don't know what Wrigley looked like. So
so it's like a long stretch of bars. You know, it's catered to the Cubs and
gotcha.
They want that type of similar atmosphere because you know they make a lot of money.
And Reeta, you know what else I'm thinking about too? I'm thinking about the stuff in the warehouse also because they got some restaurants in the warehouse too, right?
Well, they had Dempsey's, which is now the sports book, but I think you can go there when they're away. You can go in there, but during games you can't because it's to the stadium. So you have to have you have to be inside the stadium.
Inside the stadium.
Gotcha. Well, I hope you're right in that 4 teams out the AL East make the playoffs because I don't want to see them damn Astros again because they keep kicking our ass.
Well, they're third in their division, so as of right now, we ain't got
right, and that's what I'm saying because Texas is kind of running away with it right now. So
yeah, they are.
So I don't want to see the Astros. They keep kicking our ass every time we see them. So, Reeta, talk to me about Brother from Another, and congratulations on getting those opportunities to be on there. I always make an appointment to, because I never catch you like in real time, but I always make sure that I catch you on the YouTube, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. So talk to us about that opportunity and, let us know how all that's going right now.
Yeah, it's funny because social media really is great. I've gotten so many opportunities from being on social media throughout my whole, career. And, one of the producers reached out to me and asked me to be a guest on there. Like, you've been on there yourself, correct?
No, I haven't. Not yet.
Not yet.
Not
Okay.
yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
I'm
I don't know
hoping.
why. I thought that you had been on there.
I'm hoping.
I can't wait to ask Michael
Well,
Smith about that.
We're gonna speak that into existence.
I got questions for Michael Smith.
If he's there, if he's there.
Oh man, he hasn't been.
Yeah, he so he has a lot of other engagements. So
Yeah.
he's not there a lot of the time. So it's it's either Holly. Or they move around other.
Yeah. Shout out to Kelsey Nicole Nelson. She be on there too, and she be killing it too. So
and Kelsey is funny because they asked for some women to be on there, and I referred Kelsey because I do think it's important that. Well, they didn't ask for women; they asked for guests. Like, was anybody that we have overlooked? And I said yes, and I said Kelsey, and now she's a regular contributor. And this is not me taking her flowers, but this is me saying that I think it's very important for us to continue to uplift each other and put each other on, because if we don't, then nobody else really will. I mean, I'm thankful for the opportunity that someone saw my stuff or heard my radio show and wanted to reach out, but. If not, a lot of times it's word of mouth. It's about, who you have interacted with and who you have worked with in the past, right?
Yeah,
so,
right.
The girl reached out to me and I started as a guest and they really liked me as a guest. And then they started asking me to co-host certain, times, typically when Smith is not there, because he does have a lot of stuff with Amazon and his own stuff. So it's really been fun. It's taught me also to really stay abreast of everything. I mean, I've always been a baseball girl, so that's not an issue. I'm clearly, my name is the NFL chick, so football, and I love college football, but basketball was not really, it's something that I very casually watch and pay attention to, but it's taught me to get more involved in basketball, and I appreciate that because now I'm interested in watching what's going on basketball games. And so I mean it's not hard. Like I clearly don't feel like I don't know what's going on, and I understand basketball very well. I want to be clear, it's not a sport that I watch religiously,
right.
And so it's now allowed me to get more involved with basketball and even some WNBA. So I really am thankful for the opportunity from Brother from Another, not just because I'm able to talk sports, but really it's allowed me to open up my palette of sports and appreciate other sports as well.
For sure. Shout out to Wayne Cole, by the way. That's the person that's been putting me on to the Mystics a lot this season. So shout out to Wayne Cole on Twitter.
Yeah, it's always getting something. It just take one person to put you on, and I go.
For sure.
That's what's up. Hey, Reeta, thank you so much for coming in. It was late, but it was cool. I'm still glad you got on.
I'm sorry.
It's all good. It's all good.
Because what he could have did was not mention it again. That's what he could have did. But it's cool.
I'm just playing. I'm just playing. She's family at this point. When it comes when it comes to this podcast, she's family at this point.
Absolutely.
So, Reeta, let everybody know where they can find you at on social media.
Of course, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter at the NFL Chick, at Gridiron Gals. Podcast will be coming back soon. We are having a kickoff party, so I would love you guys to come. We have one every year. It's usually between Baltimore and DC. This year it will be in Baltimore. So September the 7th, the first NFL season. It's always a good time. We always have fun. So I'm excited about it. And Brother from Another, of course, the Glenn and Reeta show on 105.7 The Fan on Sundays from 1 to 4. And Brother from Another, it varies. You just have to follow me on Twitter. I'm sorry in advance if you have to do that because I do tweet a lot. But I do
have
tell
good
you
tweets. You have good tweets.
Fire tweets.
Thank y'all so much. But I do tell you the days that I am, when I know that I'm going to host, because it's not a specific standing day. It's just, every weekday it varies. So just check me out.
No doubt.
Absolutely.
So, San Francisco and Baltimore, Christmas Day, I hope to hang out with you guys when it comes to the game. Yep. Family will be there as well. So.
Yep, we'll be there. We'll
no doubt.
Definitely be
there. No doubt. Reeta, appreciate you again.
Thanks, guys, for having me. Sorry for the tardiness.
It's all right. It's all good. It's all good. All good. You have a good night, all right?
All right,
them
guys.
internet streets.
All right. Talk to y'all soon.
All right. Be safe. Be safe. That's the one and only Reeta Hubbard, a.k.a. the NFL chick. You could catch her on the airwaves in Baltimore, 105.7 The Fan. Brother from another on Peacock, and also got a couple podcasts out right now, Winning Drive podcast and the Gridiron Gals podcast. So yeah, man, dope conversations with her. Once again, man, I am tired.
You see my eyes? This ain't weed.
It ain't weed this time?
This ain't weed.
Not this time? Okay.
And I got to get up in the morning. I got a graduation to go to in the morning.
Oh, nice. And I think you know what? I didn't even eat dinner yet. So
Neither have I.
Yeah.
Neither have I.
I'm ready to shut it down. Give a quick shout out to everybody in the YouTube live chat. Big Kev 303, the Y Soul.
What up?
X Squad online radio station was in the Facebook live chat today. Sir. And of course our guests, Reeta, the NFL chick, Hubbard, for coming through, with some good sports talk right there. Folks, y'all can continue to follow us on our social media. Follow us on the Instagram account at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. We're also on Twitter at Barbershop SPOR2. You can find us on the Facebook page. Click the like button. Also on YouTube, we got the channel going, so click the subscribe button. Tell a friend to tell a friend. If you got questions about the show, you want to email us. The email is barbershopsportstalk1@gmail.com. And write us a review on any of these streaming platforms, whether it's Google Play, Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Drop us a review. Let us know what you think about the show, and all will be good from there, man. Bruh, it's been real again.
Yes, sir.
Another dope episode. Folks, got one more week until the break. We'll be back next week with another dope episode. Folks, y'all have a great evening. Love, peace, and happiness. And as always, folks, mind your damn business.
Drink some water.
Recording stopped.